Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, it's a Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time, our final edition of 2016. We're going to talk about this past week's Raw and Smackdown. Also, big news on TNA Impact Wrestling and their ownership situation, and news also from, the hot news of the week as well. The Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time starts right here, right now on Fight TV and YouTube.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime TV, the longest-running pro wrestling news program in the world, with your hosts, David Hero and Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Octavius, the Tiberius, the alleged backyard, one-time knockout, straight-edge hardcore, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Hero. How are you, David?
You know what? I'm great. Had a great Christmas.
Christmas? Festivus?
I don't do Festivus.
Kwanzaa?
Every other year I do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know, I want to be multicultural. But getting all geared up for the New Year's.
Do you have any big plans for New Year's?
I don't know yet.
Gotta hide my drink here.
I'm still debating what direction I want to go.
Really?
Yeah.
One direction?
No. Some direction.
Yeah. Well, let's get right down to it, folks, with this week's WWE Raw Report. Raw, of course, along with Smackdown, emanating from Chicago, the Shy, this past Monday night. And David, Stephanie McMahon, what would you say she did this past Monday night when she silenced the Chicago audience of their CM Punk chants in rather quick fashion?
It's so personal,
Is
isn't
that
it?
Punk? With her and Triple H, it is deeply
It's
personal.
very personal because they've never done that with other stars before in the past. You know what I mean?
But here's what was great about it. If you didn't watch, if you didn't know, the crowd, of course, 2 minutes into the program started chanting CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk. Now, just for reference, CM Punk is the guy who walked out on all those fans, yet they keep chanting at
they're in
events
Chicago
for him to come back, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess that's their voice and that's their option. But Stephanie McMahon immediately said to them, if you can keep that up for about 2 minutes and 15 seconds, you'll already last longer than Punk did. She mentioned him by name.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they've mentioned his name on air since he walked out 2 years ago.
And you know, I didn't check his Twitter to see if he commented
not
on
a word.
it. Not a word.
He has not said a word.
He won't. He's not.
He would tell you he probably wasn't watching, though.
Oh, but you know his phone blew up.
The crowd immediately silenced themselves. They didn't know what to do, what to say, and it's the power of the McMahons to hold that audience and manipulate them right there in the palm of their hand. That was exerted again this past Monday night.
Week. And watching Stephanie this week, she's gone to a whole new level.
She was somewhere else this past Monday.
Yeah.
She really was.
She was into
what it was. She was very into it. But a good start to Raw. We then saw her get interrupted by several stars, and it's the whole Reigns, Owens, Rollins, now Strowman situation that, of course, led to a matchup between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, but Roman Reigns would win at the end of the night. Mm-hmm. But also on Raw, a couple of quick questions, David, here. I'd just like to get your thoughts on these three things that we saw on Raw this past Monday night. Firstly, we talked last week about the pairing, or the program, if you will, between Bayley and Charlotte.
Yes.
Now, 2 weeks into this program, we've seen 2 matches from them, now with gimmicks in both, but still, I think it's a little too much too soon. If we're going on our way to a Mania or a Rumble match between the two,
it may not be Mania.
Now?
I'm sure it'll be the Rumble. It might not be Mania right now. But what's interesting is the week before when Charlotte lost to Bayley, it was a referee screw up.
Yeah.
Well, it happened again. It was blatantly obvious.
Mm-hmm.
So now this next week is that another rematch to favor Bayley?
Could be.
You know, I don't. I saw the magic Bayley had in NXT, and I don't see it on Raw yet.
Here we go.
I'm just saying, I don't see it.
Ooh, you know, here's the thing. It was a more intimate environment in NXT.
Yes.
It was more
Agreed.
viral, if you will, in NXT.
Yes.
And I think your point is incredibly valid about the 15,000 or so fans that were at Raw this past Monday night and are in the arena every Monday night have not been exposed to that Bayley. Many of them have, but a lot of them
Charlotte
have not.
is on a whole new level.
But when you see Bayley, if you didn't know her in her NXT days, do you see a star? Let's say you'd never watched NXT.
Cosmetically, I'd like there's no way she could beat anybody.
Okay, conversely, Sasha Banks. Would she be a star if you had not seen her cosmetically in NXT?
Because her character is different, I could see her being a star.
Please explain.
Well, you have the
Because I just heard you say something I'm not even going to repeat.
Okay,
please
I
explain.
mean, you have
cosmetically Sasha, yes. Cosmetically Bailey, no.
Bailey, she's awesome. Okay, she has done great things in NXT. She has sold a ton of merchandise. She was one of their top stars for a couple years.
Oh, yeah.
She reminds me of Rainbow Bright.
Is that a bad thing?
It's not intimidating. Right?
Okay, and Sasha with the pink hair doesn't.
No, but Sasha reminds me of
Moolah?
no,
Blaze?
I'm not comparing to other wrestlers.
Oh.
Like from the He-Man action figures. It could have been one of the chicks. You know?
You know what? I don't know where you get this stuff from, but you're absolutely right. Yeah.
I know. I am
She
right.
absolutely is. Yeah. When do you think we're going to see those two culminate in a matchup? And will it be another Hell in a Cell? Will it be another Last Man Standing? Will it be more gimmicks
I hope
along
not.
the way for
They
these
need
two?
to just stick to some regular wrestling for right now.
Yeah. In a real contested matchup without shenanigans.
Yes.
And maybe we'll get that at the Royal Rumble come January at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. Another interesting pairing, though, David Hero, is a pairing as of late that we've seen between Rusev, the Beast, and Jinder Mahal. How did those two become a thing?
Well, they're both here under paperwork, I'm guessing. I mean, you got to stick the foreign guys together. You had Sheik and Volkov. You had Sheamus and Cesaro. You had, the Volkov or the Koloffs, and you had the Sheiks, and just why ruin a good thing?
pairing? It could be something, because really, what's Rusev really done lately?
Jinder Mahal needs
done
it.
lately?
Mahal
Yeah.
needs
Yeah.
it. I like the matchup between Rusev and Big Cass.
Did you?
I do.
Here's the thing, David Hero. I'm not a big Cass guy.
Big Cass he's slowly getting better,
He's not good.
but it's different. You know,
Different being Rusev and
when
Cass.
have you seen Rusev be like the underdog as far as size
No,
goes?
you're right. But I think they also have done a good job of separating to a degree Enzo and Amore.
Enzo and Cass.
Enzo and Cass.
Yeah.
Enzo Amore, that's Dean Martin.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think they've done a good job of separating them. And who gets a bruise that big on their ass?
Enzo.
There's some good writing happening with that team right now. But here's the thing about Cass that Enzo's great on the microphone. Enzo he's a spot guy, right?
Yes.
I would say.
Yes.
Cass is supposed to be this beast, this monster, this
How many
super heavyweight.
7-footers are that good?
But after this and SAWFT,
It's a little slower. Yeah.
there's
It's
just
the
nothing
same
there.
3 or 4 moves.
Is he working with the right person, being with Rusev,
yes,
to get better?
Yes, because Rusev is a great heel. Rusev is one of the top workers in the company.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I mean, they have to mold Big Cass.
They do.
And the problem is with most matches, it's the same comeback with
Yeah.
everybody. We see the same match every week.
But you see that with big guys often, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, Hogan always had the same comeback, and, Warrior did, and, John Cena does, and Rock did, and, but it's like the same 3 or 4 moveset. You got to change it up a little bit.
So another interesting thing happened on Raw this past Monday night, and that was the confrontation between the Golden Truth and the Club backstage.
Yeah.
Where Goldust was presented by Bailey, a Dusty Rhodes teddy bear with the polka dots and
Yes.
everything. And then Carl Anderson comes up, takes said bear, and rips the head off and hands it back to Goldust.
Yes.
Now, it didn't feel right, and you could even hear the audience sort of gasp when they did it, which I guess they got the point across. But one person definitely did not like this angle, and that was Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
He endorsed Cody Rhodes, who took to Twitter to pretty much bash whoever thought that was a good idea.
I don't get it. I don't understand it.
The commentary team said, I don't remember which one said it, and they say this often when things like this happen, is if you know Dusty Rhodes like I knew Dusty Rhodes, Dusty would have found that entertaining.
I'm sure he would have, And, of course, I'm sure Dustin signed off on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's,
Why? Why did they need to do that? Did it get the heat that they were striving for?
No, because when you do that, you'll never get enough heat.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and then the matchup, Goldust was great as usual in the matchup, but you'd think maybe that would lead to a win perhaps or something more against the club, and there was no payoff for even doing it, and there was no heat needed to do it. So
and they didn't get their heat back afterwards.
Is it a tribute to Dusty or is it disrespectful to Dusty in your opinion?
Someone looked at it as a tribute to get those two teams into a match.
Fair enough. Overall, your thoughts on Raw this past Monday night from Chicago's Allstate Arena where Linda Kay was in attendance?
I saw Linda Kay on TV a few times. How about that?
She was wearing the wrong shirt.
She was wearing the red, yellow, and blue shirt.
She didn't walk you to the ring.
No, she didn't, but she obviously knows a winner.
She just wanted a chicken dinner.
Raw. Is that why she walked you to the ring? Wow.
I did provide her with food, yes.
Okay.
Catering and such.
I mean, we didn't even talk about Braun Strowman, but I mean...
No, that's why I'm asking you. Your overall thoughts on Raw, your
I thought
highlight,
Raw,
if you will.
Braun Strowman was the highlight on Raw.
You're a Braun guy. You are. Even Sami Zayn took it to him, came out of the crowd, and...
Come on.
You heard the pop he got, right? Chicago loves Sami Zayn.
Yeah,
He's
they
endorsed.
do. Yeah. Braun Strowman has been a star the last couple of weeks.
I cringe when he talks. Because he's got to have that. Here's what I don't like. So yes, he's big. Yes, he's huge. Yes, he has a great presence. But why does he have to have that tough guy voice?
Well, how about Andre the Giant's voice? How about the Ultimate Warrior's voice?
Warrior wasn't a
How about
big
George
guy.
the Animal Steel?
Mine?
Yeah.
Those were all part of their character. No, okay. It just seems artificial. It seems artificial.
Okay.
I know he's your guy, but I really don't care. Overall, Raw, solid, decent.
It was a. If I would have missed last week's Raw, I would have thought yeah.
Yes, that's a good point, folks. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to talk about this week's Smackdown. We've also got hot news, DDouble HS, and more still to come here on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time.
The biggest party event of WrestleMania weekend is back. WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash presents Shenanigans Orlando. Join Nash and his friends for a huge VIP party Saturday, April 1st. Party with the biggest stars of wrestling at the pub at Point Orlando on International Drive to kick off WrestleMania weekend. Don't miss Shenanigans Orlando, hosted by Kevin Nash. Tickets are available now and going fast at PWRshow.com. That's PWRshow.com.
Hey everybody, this is WWE Champion, Chicago's own straight edge superstar CM Punk, and you are watching PWR on My 24 Milwaukee.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. It's our final show of 2016. David Hero.
Yes.
What a year it's been.
It flew by again.
It has been, they say as you get older, the years do go by faster.
They do. They go by very fast for me.
It's time to talk about SmackDown this week, and SmackDown had probably its best week ever. We're going to talk about that in just a little while. It was a good 2-hour show, a solid 2-hour show, a stacked 2-hour show, highlighted by the return of John Cena. John Cena, who comes out in front of the Chicago audience, refers to himself as Super Cena, as a slight to the fans, and also addresses the rumors of him taking time off, the rumors of him leaving WWE for Hollywood, the rumors of him stepping back from his main event role, I guess you can call it, in WWE, and he reasserts the fact that that is not going to be the case by saying that whoever wins the triple threat match that would happen later in the night for the WWE Championship, he would then be their next opponent. And he said he can do that because he's John Cena.
He's absolutely right. He's still the biggest star in the company.
Absolutely. The truth was spoken this past Tuesday night at SmackDown. John Cena, a solid return to the company. Didn't need to get physical. His words got as physical as he needed to get.
He reminded me of when he first became the big star, when he got a little edgier.
Yeah.
And
even his time with The Rock. I had a little feeling of that, too.
And you know what? He absolutely needed that. If he came back and did his usual you-rah-rah, it's old really quick.
And he knows he couldn't do that in Chicago. The world knows he couldn't do that in Chicago.
And I liked it. I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome how he called out the winner, said he wants him at the Rumble. The Rumble's good looking.
Because I'm John Cena.
The Rumble looks awesome.
Does it?
I think so.
You got, okay, so later in the night, you would have the triple threat matchup between Baron Corbin, AJ Styles, and Dolph Ziggler for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Baron Corbin's a stud, isn't he?
We'll talk about that in a moment. AJ Styles would win that matchup, meaning it is Styles versus Cena at the Royal Rumble. Now, that's interesting because we've seen Styles versus Cena several times, but enough time seemingly has passed that it won't be an issue to see it again at the Royal Rumble. You got that match. You've got Goldberg versus Lesnar. Goldberg, who returns next week on Raw.
They're in the Rumble match. They're not wrestling each other.
Oh, that is true. They're in the Rumble match.
Yes.
What else do we have for the Rumble that makes it so spectacular for you?
Just that so far.
Really?
Cena, Lesnar, Goldberg, Cena, and AJ has been awesome every single time.
It has, and it really put AJ on the map in WWE.
Their entire roster is healthy right now.
Wow, that is a great point. Well, Zack Ryder's injured, but
The Miz has been awesome.
Excellent. He is doing his best work in his entire career right now.
Well, he's had 4 years to get ready for it.
He's been around a little longer than that. He was champion 4 years ago.
Right, that's what I mean. He's had 4 years to get ready for it.
So Baron Corbin in that matchup didn't win, but won.
He was great.
He arrived.
The whole match was great.
Yeah. The match given some 25 minutes minus commercial time on SmackDown, and it delivered a tremendous wrestling contest as it could. Dolph Ziggler, always a great hand, obviously. AJ Styles, everyone knew he'd be great, but I'm not sure people knew, including this guy, that Baron Corbin would be as great as he was in that matchup.
When I drafted him, I told you he's going to be a star.
It's weird, because normally when you draft people in the draft, their careers shortly are ruined.
Yeah, like Apollo Crews.
Yeah, he was in the dark match, I believe. SmackDown on Tuesday.
What happened to Apollo Crews?
That is the question. What happened to Apollo Crews?
He had a rocket on his back.
He did. Maybe Russia got involved. Can we talk about that on this show? Russia?
Whenever we talked about politics.
No, I didn't say anything political. Just Russia.
Sure.
Vladimir.
Putin.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to say more. I'm just asking if we can touch the subject. I don't want to get sanctioned.
And you will.
This match is unsanctioned by the Championship Board and Committee. SmackDown had, as I said, one of its best weeks ever. In fact, for the first time ever, SmackDown defeated Monday Night Raw in the ratings this past week.
How great is that?
Now, here's the caveat, though. 2.885 million viewers for both shows. So the same number of viewers, however, more average live viewers for SmackDown than Raw over the course of the night, giving it a better rating. That is monumental.
A win is a win.
That is monumental. Now, there was a Denver Broncos and somebody game on Monday night, so that's
didn't matter.
Some stiff competition for Raw.
No.
But this is huge. SmackDown was never going to beat Raw. SmackDown beat Raw in the ratings this past week.
It's because the fans are tired of the same show on Raw.
It is the same show each and every week. And on top of that, it's 3 hours and 20 minutes of 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
As I said, it's like watching Titanic every Monday night. Not that the ship is sinking, but sometimes it does. That is quite epic, and I have difficulty making that kind of commitment to that show. SmackDown is digestible. SmackDown is easy. SmackDown is 2 hours.
It's fun.
No overrun.
No,
and it's deliberate, and it has a purpose.
And they have a fresh young batch of stars.
They do.
That are growing on us.
Including James Ellsworth, who was still around this past Tuesday night as well.
He's going to be around for a while.
Did you think he'd get the hot chick? Carmella?
Sure, well, why not? Hey, you wear a neck brace and you limp a little bit, anything's possible.
SmackDown, overall, your thoughts on its monumental week this week, David Hero?
It was great. It started off strong with John Cena. It ended even stronger with that triple threat. And let's not forget about
brand new tag team champions
in the middle.
Alpha defeated Luke Harper. That's important.
No, Randy Orton. He beat Randy Orton.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Luke Harper got involved, though, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Because him and Randy got into a little bit of a tiff afterwards.
Yes.
But that's pretty huge. Alpha wins the straps from the Wyatt family. Looks like we're probably going to see that match at the Rumble as well.
There's no doubt. Has to be.
Good effort from SmackDown this past Tuesday night. WWE sort of resets itself next week with both Raw and SmackDown because it's the new year. The holidays are not in the way anymore, and I say in the way because people are distracted during the holiday season and they don't necessarily engage as much in television. But as we talked about earlier, both Raw and SmackDown emanating from the Allstate Arena this past Tuesday, this past week. Interesting Interesting effort by WWE. They ran a Madison Square Garden show Monday night as well. They ran a show somewhere else Tuesday night.
St. Louis.
4 big shows over 2 days, and they sold out the Allstate Arena both nights. As a matter of fact, SmackDown had a larger live attendance on Tuesday than Raw did on Monday.
Because of John Cena.
They stacked that show hugely. Cena's return, the triple threat, or the Four Corners tag match, or whatever it was, and then the triple threat championship matchup. I think the women's title was also defended on SmackDown on Tuesday.
Alexa Bliss
They loaded the show. Can they maintain that momentum going into next week?
If with John Cena back, I think so.
Did we get a glimpse of Orlando, Florida on April 2nd when John Cena gave a smirking nod to the audience as they chanted The Undertaker this past Tuesday night on SmackDown?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think that is going to be the match?
It has to be.
It has not happened.
It may have happened once, but it has
not
to
at
happen.
WrestleMania.
No, but that match was supposed to be last year. John Cena is the guy that should have broke the streak if it wasn't going to be Brock Lesnar. That's passing the torch, yes.
But you're passing the torch to somebody else who's been there for 10 years?
I think John Cena, he's done everything else in that company but beat The Undertaker.
I 100% agree with you, and that is a marquee money matchup.
Yeah.
So let's look at WrestleMania at this point. Lesnar, Goldberg, foregone conclusion. Cena, Taker.
Absolutely. I want to see that match. I really do.
Would be a great match. Those are 2 money matches right there for me. Huge in Orlando, Florida. Anyways, folks, that's the SmackDown Report. We're going to take a time out. When we come back, it is more of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime, including this week's hot news and DDouble HS. We'll be back in just a moment.
The Soder family thought they'd take a road trip this summer. A little fun, a little sun. What could possibly go wrong? Even under the best driving conditions, semi-trucks can still be dangerous. The results of being in a wreck with 40 tons of steel and speed can be catastrophic. And it only gets worse when you don't have Gruber Law Offices on your side. If you or a loved one has been injured by a semi-truck, call Gruber Law Offices now. One call, that's all.
Welcome to the PWR Event Center. I'm Linda Kay. WWE makes its huge return to Milwaukee on Sunday, March 5th to the BMO Harris Bradley Center for Fastlane. Tickets are currently available at Ticketmaster.com. Ring of Honor also makes its return to Milwaukee to the Turner Hall Ballroom on April 28th. Tickets for this event are also available. And it's the biggest party of WrestleMania weekend. The Shenanigans VIP party hosted by Kevin Nash is coming to Orlando. Tickets and info are available at PWRshow.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. Here, our final show of 2016. And David Hero, you made a good point during the time out there about how we should take this time to give thanks. Give thanks to our audience for sticking with us and enduring your insanity on a weekly basis here on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. And also want to remind everybody that you can also join us on Fight TV. If you're watching us on YouTube, that's FITE, Fight TV. It's a free app. You can actually go to fight.tv on your computer and get the app information and download it from there. It is free, FREE free. And you can watch Ring of Honor on a weekly basis on the Fight TV app, of course, along with the Pro Wrestling Report. TNA's One Night Only Live, which will be happening in January, will be available on the app as well, Fight TV, along with several other great entertainment offerings from the boxing, wrestling, and MMA worlds. Ronda Rousey.
Yes.
She's playing tough.
She's fighting.
Yeah. UFC
she looks
207,
great too. She looks awesome.
Apparently is going to be Mark Goldberg and
Mike
Goldberg and the comedian
Joe Rogan.
Their last show with UFC, which has been interesting.
It's Goldberg.
With it
it's Goldberg
for a long time.
I don't know about Rogan, but
there's rumors of both.
Huh.
Don't know where they go from there though.
Well, they've all made plenty of money. They can do their own things.
That they have. Let's talk about this week's hot news, though, David Hero. I'm talking about making plenty of money. hesitated with bringing this up, but the reports are out there, and some websites are reporting that Kurt Angle is telling people
He's
that
been
he
saying
is
this for
going
years.
to be back in WWE come WrestleMania season. These ears have heard it from that mouth as well.
In New Orleans.
In New Orleans, some 3 years ago, when he said he was on his way back to WWE. Here is the thing. Do you think that that bridge will be rebuilt and we will see Kurt Angle make his final run?
Of course. They
in
brought
WWE?
Sable back.
They brought Sable back. They brought Bret Hart came back.
Yeah.
Goldberg came back. But what is this? Now, we all know Kurt left under very shady circumstances from WWE. He asked for time off. They granted him that time off. He was going to get better, rest,
Said you want to be released to go to rehab.
Exactly.
And then he went to TNA.
Showed up in TNA. Now, we see where that got him. I mean, it lined his pocketbooks pretty well. But to be as great as Kurt Angle is, and to be able to influx another high level of talent into WWE right now, what is the roadblock? Why won't they entertain Kurt Angle returning to the
Because of the way he left the company, that he lied to Vince McMahon, and Vince took that personal. Vince created Kurt Angle.
He did.
I mean, Kurt had all the talent.
Without the machine, though, it wouldn't have mattered.
Exactly. But Kurt deserves to be back. He does.
He does.
So do the Hardys.
Do you think they're producing TV shows now?
Everybody wants to go back one more time.
Do you think that Kurt Angle will be back in 2017? Because
Yes.
the clock is ticking.
Yes. He's had a whole year off to heal.
What do you do with him if he does come back?
Him and Rusev.
Ooh, yummy.
You know?
Okay.
Why not?
Okay. Yes. 10 years. 11 years it will be next year that Kurt Angle has been gone from the company. He left in 06.
I didn't think it was that long.
But, let's be real here. There's certain things that have to happen for Kurt to come back.
Well, he's got to pass a whole lot of concussion tests.
Yeah, and he may not be able to do that. And perhaps he has not been able to do that, which could be the issue.
Could be. Well, we're talking about him again, right?
Well, we are. He's keeping his name in the news. We talked about Ring of Honor wrestling earlier as well. Ring of Honor's former champion, Jay Lethal, has re-signed with the company. Now, there's a lot of reports out there of talents who have contracts expiring as of this weekend, such as Kyle O'Reilly and even Adam Cole, the champion. However, we do know that Jay Lethal and the Young Bucks have signed new contracts with Ring of Honor.
As did Silas Young.
Silas Young, Milwaukee's very own Silas
Yes, he
Young,
did.
all re-signed with Ring of Honor Wrestling. Now, keep in mind that Ring of Honor does return to Milwaukee right here in the Milwaukee at Turner Hall on April 28th. TNA Impact Wrestling, David Hero, let's talk a little about it because they've announced that they are going to be returning to their studios in Orlando, Florida at Universal Studios to record a series of shows. 12 weeks of TV will be
over
produced.
8 days.
Over 8 days. They're going to take one day off in the middle. And they're going to have all their programming done through the end of March, which means they should be back in town during WrestleMania weekend, which is a very, very smart move for them. And also, surprisingly, apparently they think they're going back on the road next year.
Well,
Not
they
with
should.
Impact, but just for live events.
Well, they should, because they definitely need to create some money, and now they got money behind them.
I mean, are they going to, though? Because that was the problem with their live event business in the past.
Well, when you go to the C&D towns, that's the problem.
Well, I mean, you can still do okay in the C&D towns if you advertise the shows.
Yes.
A billboard in Times Square only gets you so far.
It does.
To that point, as we've talked about the saga of the ownership of TNA over the past few months, we do know that Anthem Sports Company out of Canada has purchased basically the company, and we expect an announcement of their new ownership of TNA Impact Wrestling as early as Monday. And with that, we don't know what role, if any, former TNA president Dixie Carter will play in the new company.
Oh, she has a role to play. There's no way she...
Maybe it's just an on-air role.
No. No. She still has something to do.
But and that right there is the challenge. Because as long as she remains involved,
You step on a duck?
as long as she remains involved, as anybody who knows anything about this business will tell you, the company's not going to grow. It's not going to get any bigger or any better.
right.
Anthem's just going to sink money into a sinking ship.
Yeah, but it all depends on who you surround the president with.
Sure, that's a good point.
You know? I mean, if you have a board of directors,
She has manipulated so much,
but
though.
it's completely different.
True.
Anthem is a legit company.
They are a legit company. This is good news for TNA.
Of course
This
it
is
is.
tremendous news for TNA. And quite frankly, there's one person we have to thank for it, and that's Billy Corgan. Had he not gotten screwed over by Dixie Carter personally, had he not sued for ownership of TNA Wrestling, Anthem would have never stepped in and bought
not at
controlling interest in the company. And this is what TNA has needed. So I'm optimistic. And keep in mind, I think Dixie Carter's an amazing human being. I think she's a nice person. I think she's a decent human being. However, the one constant that has remained in TNA during all of its woes is her. And one thing that's interesting to note as well is apparently Anthem has been seeking advice from a former controlling member of TNA Impact Wrestling in the name of Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff Jarrett.
Could he wiggle his way back in?
Absolutely. That would not surprise me.
Would she allow that? She
may not have a choice.
Things are going to get interesting down in Nashville, aren't they?
Yes, it is.
That is this week's hot news, ladies and gentlemen. With that, let's throw it over to David Hero, who has this week's DWHS.
This week's DWHS is about the growth of 4 stars of WWE. Braun Strowman on the Raw brand, who took over and demolished. And yeah, you may say Sami Zayn got the better of him, but Braun Strowman destroyed Seth Rollins during that match. He destroyed the Carlitos.
He did.
Okay, he did great. Then we go over to the Smackdown brand, where Baron Corbin shined like a star. He kept pace with Dolph Ziggler and AJ Styles, 2 of the best in the business today. Kept up with them, move for move. And then, of course, his finish is the one that beats Dolph Ziggler. And then it's American Alpha. If you think about it, the NXT Tag Team American Alpha, they've been up for what now, 3 months? 4 months?
We'll go with that.
Okay. They pinned Randy Orton.
Right.
Former world champion.
Yeah.
They elevated 4 talents. There is a youth movement. 2 of them
John Cena's not a fan of this new era, though.
2 of them are monsters in Strowman and Corbin. And then you just built up a tag team by beating Randy Orton. Very happy with the way Creative has used these younger stars. They're building stars going into WrestleMania season. And with that, David Hero has spoken.
So let me ask you this. I think that's a great DWHS. Let me ask you this, though, David Hero. Stars like The Big Show, stars like Mark Henry, stars like... I'll even throw him into the fold because Kane, even the Randy Ortons, the John Cenas, the Sheamuses of the world, the old guard, if you will. Their role is quite clear right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's to make sure the company survives and builds younger, bigger stars.
Yeah, and without those established stars, those younger, bigger stars would never be as good as they're going to be.
Exactly.
Well, folks, that is this week's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a happy and safe New Year's holiday.
Yes.
And we'll be back with you again next week, right here from Casablanca on Brady. You coming to the big Casablanca New Year's party this weekend?
You know what? It's one of the options.
There's going to be dancing girls,
there's
and belly dancers,
there's going
to
be lots of stuff here.
And
yes.
Couscous.
It's hard to pass up a good couscous.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, folks, we thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again next week.